Yes, I'm live now. Hello. Am I audible? Sound check. Hello. Okay. Sanjali, am I audible? Hello. Sanjali, could you speak over the Gmeet once?
And then we can see. I'll ask if it's not.
Speak
Uh,
once.
Hi everyone.
Yes, yes, you are audible. Sanjali, try speaking once again.
Hi everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you are audible. I've checked. And it's working. Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, teachers. Thank you for joining in on time. We will start sharp at 2 p.m. Okay, सबैजना आउनु टाइम दिउँ एकछिन. We'll start at 2 p.m. आज तपाईँहरूले रेजिस्ट्रेसनहरू केही पनि गर्नु पर्दैन. तपाईँहरूले आज डिरेक्टली गएर एटेन्डेन्स मात्रै मार्क गर्नुहुन्छ लर्निङ सर्कलबाट. ट्रेनिङ कोड सोध्नुहुँदो रहेछ आजको लागि ट्रेनिङ कोड हुँदैन तपाईँहरूले हिजो लर्निङ सर्कलमा जसले इनरोल गर्नुभएको छ उहाँहरूले हुन्छ तपाईँले अगर हिजो लर्निङ सर्कलमा इनरोल गर्नुभएको छैन भने चाहिँ हामी तपाईँहरूलाई गुगल फर्म दिन्छ एकछिनबाट तपाईँहरूले एटेन्डेन्स यसमै मार्क गर्नुहुनेछ We will begin in next 2 minutes. Someone has asked, could you please send link? Google form को लागि link हामी एकछिनबाट तपाईँहरूलाई फ्लोट गर्छ अहिले होइन एन्ड फर लर्निङ सर्कल यु डोन्ट निड एनी लिङ्क्स तपाईँहरू सिधै आएर भरे मार्क मात्रै गर्नुहुन्छ एटेन्डेन्स थ्रु द लर्निङ सर्कल इफ यु ह्याड इनरोल्ड yesterday. Okay, now we'll begin. Thank you everyone for joining on time. 631 participants, 43 participants we see, and thank you everyone for joining on time. Today is our second day of the training for pedagogy module. तपाईँहरू सबैजनालाई याद भइसकिसक्यो होला अब चाहिँ हामीले यो किन गर्दैछ भनेर सो दिस इज अल पार्ट अफ द टिचर इम्पावरमेन्ट प्रोग्राम टिइपी अस्ति भर्खर हाम्रो एसेसमेन्ट मोड्युलको इन पर्सन ट्रेनिङ थियो मास्टर ट्रेनर्सहरूको त्यहाँदेखि उहाँहरूले तपाईँहरूलाई ट्रेनिङ दिनुभयो है त्यहाँदेखि नेक्स्ट फेज अब जुन चाहिँ यो पेडागोजी छ यसको ट्रेनिङ चल्दैछ आज लास्ट डे हो वी विल कम्प्लिट इट आई विल नाउ we will see our resource persons. They have joined in from different parts of the country. Okay, we have Rasmiji, we have Ravinder, we have Vikash. Rasmiji already has 20 plus years of experience, even Ravinder has. And Rasmiji has, like, previously worked in Pearson as training head. Right now, she leads the training department of Convigenius. So she is one of our resource person. Another is Ravinder Kaur, who is also leading the training. And we have Vikash Kumar, who is a team member from our Convigenius training team. Rasmiji, let me just share my screen again, okay? And then I'll get, sorry. I'm just sharing it again so that please see if the audio is audible or not. I hope it is audible. Rasmiji, can you just speak once so that people can confirm if it is audible?
Yeah, can you hear? Can teachers hear
Yes,
me?
yes, they can hear you. Okay, over to you, Rasmiji and Ravinder.
Yeah, thank you, Varsha. Thank you very much for the introduction, and good afternoon, teachers, and a very warm welcome to the day 2 of our pedagogy session, part 2. So before we begin, let's briefly recall what we discussed yesterday, and we explored the role of prior knowledge, what students' engagement looks like, and what pedagogy means. And then we also discussed how learning outcome assessment and pedagogy are linked together, and how the pedagogical choices teachers make shape the learning culture of the classroom. So today, Ravinder will take this discussion forward. And let me share a very little secret with you all. She's going to introduce two very interesting pedagogical tools that teachers can use in the classroom, and whether it's a low strength classroom or the high strength classrooms. And over to you, Ravinder. And I'll be quietly watching the chat and enjoying all the wonderful ideas our teachers share along the way. So over to you. Thank you, Ravinder.
Thank you, Rashmiji. Yesterday also we received such amazing participation from all the teachers, and I'm expecting the same today. Hi everyone, welcome back to the training module day 2, and let's begin with our training, this online thing. Okay. So before we begin, let me quickly take you through today's agenda. Today we will be talking about factors affecting pedagogical choices. Yesterday we spoke what are pedagogical choices, and today we will be talking about the factors that impact pedagogical choices, although we did get some hints here and there from the chats that we saw yesterday, but today we will take that up in more detail and more structured manner. We will also talk about pedagogy in the context of NEP and NCF. We will talk about approaches to pedagogy and tools of pedagogy. But before we do that, let's begin our session by you all telling me your biggest learning from day 1. I'm looking at the chats. Please share what was your biggest takeaway from yesterday. See, the idea is whatever we are discussing here, if it goes back into the classrooms, even if you're able to make one small change in the classroom, it's all worth it. I'm waiting for your responses. Your biggest takeaway from yesterday's session. Meenuji is saying effective pedagogy. Okay. Meena ji is saying she understood about using playway method. Sanjana Gurum ji is saying using prior knowledge while teaching in classroom. Okay. Lakshmi ji is saying joyful learning. Purnima ji is saying checking prior knowledge. Jharna ji is saying effective way of teaching. Okay, we have another account saying importance of students' prior knowledge. Milan ji is also talking about prior knowledge. Bhavna ji is saying talking about the importance of pedagogy. Arpan ji is saying has written prior knowledge. Okay. Lecture ji is saying understanding is the key. So well said. The whole objective is that our students should be able to understand the concept so they don't have to rote memorize it. Trizana is saying active participation. Mingma Sherpa, account name Mingma Sherpa is saying prior knowledge. Anitya ji is saying playway method. Rita ji is saying learning by doing method. Okay. We have another account from name Onkik Bhutia saying prior knowledge as an important part of teaching learning. Absolutely correct. Mahesh Gautam ji is saying pedagogy should be effective. Oh, very good point. Nar Bahadur ji is saying contextualized teaching. Absolutely correct. We have another account talking about effective classroom by doing activities. I see some hellos. Hi, everyone. So glad that you all are here again. Sushmita ji is talking about prior knowledge. Okay, Bishnuji saying ask open questions. Very well said. There's an account named SM Official. They are giving 2 points. First point is student-centered classroom. Second point says LO's pedagogy and assessment are aligned. Very well said. Poonam Pradhanji is saying, I would like to try interactive learning activities in my classroom. So great. We are so happy. We would love to know how it went in your classroom when we see each other next, maybe online or in person. Let's see. Jharna ji is talking about real life teaching. Amit Chandra ji is saying children understand when they understand at their level, they feel easy. Absolutely. So I also want you to tell me about one teaching strategy from yesterday's session. We spoke about a lot of teaching strategies. One teaching strategy from yesterday's session that you would like to try in your classroom. One teaching strategy that you would like to try in your classroom. Think, parent, share. Okay. Learning by doing. Perfect. We have playway method, field trip. Okay, we spoke, some of you spoke about field trip. Very good. You want to try field trip. A lot of you want to try playway method. Rita ji is saying pedagogy should be aligned to topic to achieve LO. Absolutely correct. Naveen ji is saying playway method and active participation. Tara ji is saying she would like to connect her learning to real life. Okay, learning through games, learning by doing, questioning. I'm so glad some of you are saying questioning, group discussion, child-centered method, hands-on activities, self-assessment, good. Storytelling methods. I think you all are, I'm sure you all will be trying a lot of new methods in your classroom after these sessions. So let's move on. So yesterday I told you about pedagogical choice. We use this word pedagogical choice. I gave you a quick understanding. I tried giving you a quick understanding about pedagogical choice. I want to understand, in your perspective, what do you understand about pedagogical choice? What is a pedagogical choice? What do you think is a pedagogical choice? Waiting for your answers. What is a pedagogical choice? It's coming from two words, pedagogical and choice. What do you think is a pedagogical choice? Puranji is saying way or method of teaching. Okay. Any more answers? Sonamji is saying effective teaching method. There's an account named the Surjahang. They're saying effective way to teach. Shraddha ji is saying visual learning, use charts, maps, videos, diagrams. Okay. Okay, we have Nimbhutia ji saying to choose correct method or strategies for teaching a particular content. Very good answer. We have another account from Let Me Hide a Little. Yesterday also you were very active. And they're saying the choice that would bring improvement in the quality of learners. Very good answer. Okay, we have another account saying learning in an active process with proper planning. Okay. Fungwama ji is saying student-centric choice. Okay, I'm trying to decode it by saying maybe making choices that make your classroom student-centric. Khushbu ji has given beautiful answers. Strategic selection of learning. Okay, or maybe teaching learning process method. Usha ji saying strategies chosen according to learner's perspective. Okay. Wonderful answers. There's an account named Pookie. They're saying pedagogy aligned with the topic. Okay. We have Another account, Rinkila Bhutia, they're saying method or strategy of teaching. I think it's bang on. All your answers are bang on. You've understood that any choice around pedagogy, choices that we make about method, about intention, about interaction that we are taking up in the class is a pedagogical choice. So every time you're planning your lesson, you ask, we make decisions. Should I explain it in the class? Should I do an activity? What activity should I do? Should students work in group or alone? Should I ask questions first? Should I explain first? Should I give a test? Should I give practice first? All these answers that you make decisions are pedagogical decisions or pedagogical choices. So if you want to have a good class, interactive class, you should use methods based on students' lesson goals and classroom realities, based on their contextual realities, like you all already mentioned. Now the point is, what are the factors that guide pedagogical choice? Yesterday, we got an answer when I was talking about learning methods, and some of you said depends. So these are what the factors that pedagogical choices depends on. So what do you think what are the factors on which pedagogical choices depend on? What are the factors that guide pedagogical choices? Okay, beautiful answer. Roma ji is saying how we intend to teach a lesson. Absolutely. Teacher's intention. Okay. Pedagogical choice is a method of teaching. Okay. Applicable strategies. But what are the factors? Contextual factors. Khushbu ji, beautiful answer. Difficulty of topics. Okay. Another account, Ladenla Bhutia ji saying grade and age. Absolutely. Bang on answer. Okay. Puranji saying LO assessment. Students' level of understanding. Sonamji saying students' level of understanding is a factor. Very practical answer we've got from an account named Gyalmo Bhutia. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing your names incorrectly. Please pardon me. Has written a very valid and practical factor, which is time. How much time do you have in hand? If I have to finish a topic in 2 days, because of whatever reason, I cannot do very elaborate activities. Okay, level of students, okay. Learning needs of a child, okay. Different learning levels of children, okay, very good answer. Okay. I'm also seeing all your thank yous. Thanks for acknowledging. Understanding level of children, okay. Age level, I think you all are making a lot of sense. Learning outcomes, competency, okay. The competencies that, very good answer. The competencies that you want to develop in children. Very good. Interest and engagement of learners, okay. All right, I think rest of the conducive pedagogy should be linked with previous knowledge, okay. Sangeji is saying we also need to see learning outcome. Absolutely. Learning outcome is a major factor. Okay. Availability of resources. Roshan Rai ji has given again a very practical factor, availability of resources. Amit Chandra ji has tried to sum it all by saying content, level of children, and teaching materials available and time to complete. Absolutely. I think I've majorly taken up all the points. Yeah. I think we can move on. Thank you so much. So factors that guide, we've jotted down some factors from our end based on discussions we usually have with teachers that we meet and our own experience from the schools and teaching children. Factors that guide pedagogical choices, you all have absolutely mentioned it correctly. Age, grade, and nature of subject. Absolutely. Learning outcomes, you all have said it all already. Teaching learning intent, teacher's intentions, what kind of activities do I want to take up in the class? That also is a guiding major factor that guides pedagogical choice. You all have already mentioned it, that classroom environment and resources are also important to understand, to important factors that guide pedagogical choices. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Let's move on. Let's understand. We are talking about how we've already spoken about that learning outcomes guide pedagogy. A lot of you have already said it. But let's understand how learning outcomes can guide pedagogy. Let's say if I have a learning outcome around knowledge, that means I want children to remember some facts. So best pedagogy that one should use is quiz, flashcards, repetitions, because these are the activities that promote remembering facts, recalling facts, and learning outcomes around knowledge can be taken care of by this. Sonamji, you will get a content around all of this in the online module that you will take up. So don't worry, you'll get all the content. And next is, if my learning outcome is around understanding, then I want children to explain certain ideas. So in that case, pedagogy should be around discussion, concept map. And one example is, why do we need proteins? If I strike a discussion in the class around this topic, then it is a good pedagogy. I will be able to understand students' ideas. They will be able to explain what they understand of a certain concept. And then if my learning outcome is around application, I want them to use their existing knowledge. So activities like problem solving, hands-on activities, these are the best pedagogical choices around learning outcome of application. So example is given also here, plan a balanced meal. So whatever children know about topic of food, they understand and apply their knowledge. It could be a group activity, it could be an individual activity based on student teacher's intent. But before we move on, I want you to tell me one concept and which specific pedagogy, like I'm mentioning quiz, flashcard, tell me the specific name of an activity that you took up in the class and which learning outcome was it tagged to. Ji Arjunji, right. Such pedagogy relates to the topic well. So I want you all to tell me that which activity did you take up for a specific learning outcome and which level of learning outcome was it tagged to? Types of circuit, activity, which activity? Dechanji, you said types of circuit activity based. I want to know specific activity. And which was it tagged to knowledge, understanding, or application? Group discussion, Mempraji, good group discussion, but which group, what discussion did you take up? Like I'm giving a topic, why do we need proteins? And I'm also telling that it was tagged to a learning outcome around understanding. So tell me what was the topic of discussion, and also tell me, was it tagged to knowledge, understanding, or application? I want little more specific answers now. Yesterday we took these answers, but today we are going in more detail. Individual assessment, okay. So it can be a mix of knowledge, understanding, or application, everything. Group discussion on photosynthesis, okay. And which, Shuramin tell me, which was it tagged to knowledge, was it tagged to understanding, was it tagged to application? Okay, Dachanji has given more detailed answer. Thank you. Types of circuit, open circuit and closed circuit, activity based. LO was application. Perfect. Perfect answer, Dachanji. Thank you so much. Okay. Usha ji is saying students made table lamp out of waste after understanding electrical circuit. Okay. So I'm trying to so this was tagged to application, I suppose. Grouping of animals on the basis of food habits as group discussion. Okay. Okay, Anita ji is giving another example. Make 3D figures, models like cubes, etc. in mathematics. Perfect. So it was again tagged to application. Ledenla ji is saying for understanding food items, we can use concept map and discussion to understand and why we eat rice and what does it has like protein or carbohydrate. Absolutely correct. Experiential for photosynthesis of application based. Absolutely correct answer. Pranita ji is saying group activities to find repeated subtraction method to find square root of 81. Good. Okay. I think you all are already doing wonderful activities in the class. So let's move on. So like we've already discussed, classroom environment plays a very important role in planning or pedagogy or making pedagogical choices. My class size decides whether I will work in groups. The time I have decides what kind of activity I can take up. What kind of resources I have in hand will also decide impact my pedagogical choices. So your pedagogy has to be practical, basically. So before we move to, so we have a 5-question pedagogical choice tool, but before we move on to that, I would like to invite Rashmi ji and like her to comment on, because these teachers are already doing wonderful activities, and I know Rashmi ji is already looking at a lot of responses. Rashmi ji, what do you think so far? We would like to add to what's going on.
Yeah, Ravinder, I'm really glad to read all the responses, and I'm really happy to see that the teachers have clarity that pedagogy means a lot in the classroom. So it's not about the content; it's about how we teach in the classroom. And I'm sure this slide of yours is really going to help them to put their thought in. It will give a structure to their thought. Right now, what I can see, it's very scattered, so everyone is sharing their points, but how to bring that thought in a structured way, I think you are going to share with this slide, where you are giving them the 5 questions, and they can take the help of those 5 questions, and then they can decide their pedagogical approach, your pedagogical choice. And I really love this word, the pedagogical choice. Over to you.
Thank you. Okay. I am already seeing a lot of you are still responding. I had given homework to students to find out surface area of kitchen table at your home. LO was application. Absolutely perfect answers you all are giving. So, but still, let's move to this 5-question framework around pedagogical choice. So this can also work as your checklist when you're making a pedagogical choice. First question you ask yourself is, who are my learners? The contextualization that you all are already talking about. Second question you ask yourself, what resources do I have? I can't plan an activity that has, big resources required that I do not have in my class. My plan would be great, but I will not be able to execute it if I have lack of resources. What is my teaching intent? What do I want my children to do? Because as a teacher, you all know your children the best. You all know what they need at the point of time. You all know it the best. And then what is the learning outcome I am expected of this activity? If my learning outcome is around recall, I will not do an activity of planning a balanced meal. I will not do an activity around making their circuit, because that's not my learning outcome. My learning outcome right now is around recall. And like you all have already mentioned, the nature of the subject or the topic will also decide. I can't have a long discussion session around formulae in mathematics. My children need to sit down and start applying those formulas. They may have an activity around to understand or derive a formula, but I can't have long discussions around mathematical formula. Similarly, a science circuit activity, you can have a discussion around that, but ultimately we want children to sit down and apply what they know. So nature of the subject also decides what will be the impacts the pedagogical choice. So nature of subject, different like I already said, if it's a social science topic and I want to teach maybe concept about parliament, maybe some concept about kings and how kings used to run their empire, I would like to use role play as an activity in the class where children enact and understand how things happen. Whereas if it's science, we want children to perform certain experiments. Let me hide a little account is saying every class has different kind of learners, and then how we choose correct pedagogy which focuses on their learning as a whole. Absolutely correct. Teaching, I want my children to collaborate. Do I want my children to explore? Do I want my children to discuss? Based on that, your method, your pedagogical choice has to match the teacher intent. How can the same...
One point I would like to add here, Ravinda, and I think that will be helpful for the teachers. When we talk about nature of subject teachers, it's very important that we understand the different skills which are associated with the subject. So remember, like Ravinda, when we do mathematics, it's a computational skill, or it's a reasoning skills, or the like estimation skills. So our pedagogy should also support those skills. Similarly, in science, it's a lot about science process skills. Are children able to observe the things correctly, or infer, or predict, or can they do the experiments? So these are the things which we need to, which we take care and which we understand. Our pedagogical choice automatically gets aligned to it. Yeah.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you so much. Okay, so how can the same subject and learning outcome be taught using different pedagogical choices? Another kind of question we can ask. We have some examples, like in both the classrooms that you see, topic around nutrition is being taught. But based on the grade, the method changes. In grade 3, teacher is asking students to sort food into groups, whereas in grade 6, it's more abstract. Students are discussing, they are reasoning. So like you already said, age is a major factor that helps us decide which pedagogy is to be used. Another example we have, if I have to teach a topic around fraction to a grade 1 student, we would give them smaller things and maybe this kind of hands-on activities. Whereas in grade 6, we would want them to reason out, we would want them to do some abstract thinking, problem solving will be required. So age and grade must impact the pedagogy, even in the same subject. Again, another example, grade 2 is doing topic of plants, grade 7 plants. For grade 2, it will be more hands-on, more observation. Whereas in grade 7, we see students are experimenting, investigating, analyzing. Again, another example, we have a topic of community helpers in social science where children are enacting, doing role plays. Whereas in grade 7, it's more about discussion and debate and analysis. So I want you to think of a topic from your subject and what are the 2 different ways in which you can teach a topic. So you write the topic name and then write 2 ways of teaching that topic. Waiting for your answers. Every topic can be taught in several ways. So I want you to write the topic name followed by two ways in which you can teach it. No, first, Anuji, first write the topic, like perimeter and area they've written, and put a dash and then write two ways in which you can teach it in the class. Okay. I see using techniques like group discussion, pair discussion. Okay, there are two ways, but which topic would you like to use it for? Write the topic name, put a dash, and then write two ways in which you can teach the topic.
I'm also getting so excited to read this question here.
Okay. Number system. Samir ji saying number system, both hands-on and child-centric along with inducive method. Okay. Usha ji saying digestive method using role play or flowchart. Okay. We have another response, natural resources through field visit and demonstration. Another example we have here is human digestive system by showing them diagram or they can make a model. Dekchan ji is saying parts of plant, lower grade using demonstrations, higher grade using grade discussions about function of parts of plant. Okay. Sonam ji is saying acid, base and salt using discussion or experiment. Okay. Resources by taking students outside and exploring to nature. Okay. Acid based and salt through lecture or demonstration or playway method. Okay, for letters through storytelling and song games. Okay. Topic family, two-way role play and storytelling. Good. Places we share. Okay, using discussion and real life examples. Taraji saying in fraction, I would thought by drawing and bringing bread and cut in pieces and need to explain. Okay. You can either draw or bring a bread and explain. Plants around us using some activity or a field trip. Okay. Topic of food, Meenaji is saying can be taught using observation, investigation, and analysis. Okay. Susataji is saying topic of leaf can be taught by using field trip or demonstration. Okay. Wonderful. Again, acid base using experiment and demonstration. Wonderful answers. Noun in class 1, account name OLTV. Noun in class 1, pick the picture with name. Noun in class 5, list 5 things from your surroundings. Okay. Dechenji saying topic of addition using concrete objects, hands-on methods or playway method. Okay. Another example, we have fraction using real objects or drawings. Okay. Home, they brought her warrior dead by role play. Okay. Must be an English topic. Rise of nationalism in Europe. Either can be done by role play or question answer method. Perfect. Perfect. I think all these examples are perfect. Let's move on and understand what is pedagogy and in the context of NEP, NCF and Parag, why at all we are talking so much about pedagogy and what do our guiding documents say about that. NEP simply completely emphasizes that learner-centered pedagogy should be used that moves away from traditional rote learning. And I think that is why we are talking so much about understanding, students understanding the concept more so they don't have to rote memorize. From teacher-centered instruction towards classroom practices where students actively construct knowledge. Now, teacher-centered instruction, teacher-centered learning classrooms are not encouraged, and classroom practices where students actively construct knowledge. That means where students are active and learning is also active. They're able to create their own knowledge by hands-on activities, experiments, field trips, and teachers should only act as facilitators. In classroom, students should be talking more, thinking and exploring. Teachers should only be helping them construct their own learning, and students should be the active participants. NEP 2020 mandates experiential and inquiry-based learning. I already saw many of you are talking about experiments and inquiry-based learning. I saw some of you also mentioning about inquiry-based learning and learning through experience, exploration, questioning, and active engagement. I already see you all are already doing a lot, and you all are very curious also about doing things. NCF 2023 interprets NEV vision into classroom instruction practices and student-centered pedagogy. Again, NCF is supporting what's written in NEP 2020. So clearly, what you all are doing in the class, what we all are talking about, our guiding documents, everything is coming from the same idea. But at the same time, NEP 2020 gives teacher autonomy. Ultimately, teacher knows the students best. Teachers know the student context the best. So the flexibility always remains with teachers about choosing appropriate pedagogical approaches. Teachers are expected to think whatever I say, I am not in your classroom. I am not spending 6 hours with your students. You are in your classrooms. You are spending all the time. You know your children the best. So you are in the best place to make the right pedagogical choices for your children. What teacher autonomy, when we are talking about teacher autonomy, how does it look like? Which examples to use for teaching? You know best. Like if the right context has to be used. When I met some of you in my during my visit to Sikkim, we were talking about context, and we were talking about food examples coming from Delhi. If I talk about let's say how nutrient dense and how are the nutrient composition of makke ki roti and saag. Students in Sikkim may not know about it. Similarly, if you talk about certain dishes, like I did try some dishes from Sikkim and I loved them. But if I talk about those dishes in Delhi, students in Delhi won't understand. So context is very important. So teachers should be able to decide when to use discussion, when to use activity, when to use explanation. That's why we talk so much about teacher intent. When students don't understand a concept, you know which is the best way in which they will understand the concept. So you make your choices. That autonomy, that flexibility remains with you all. You all can try different methods for different topics. Nobody is in a rigid manner telling you to use this or that, because you know your children best. You know what suits them the best. So let's see another example here. How teacher in classroom A and teacher in classroom B are using autonomy. Teacher in classroom A is not using autonomy and following textbook without thinking about the context of the students. Like we see in this picture, teacher in this textbook is saying, take your ruler, measure the table and write the answer. Students do it, some don't do it. Whereas a teacher in the second classroom B, understands the context, tells the students to go and measure cloth in the shop, how many steps from the door. Maybe students in classroom B maybe students in the classroom don't have a ruler. Maybe they don't understand. But when teacher understands their level of learning, understands their context, understands what they understand the best, she makes the right choices and makes a choice of not following the textbook blindly. So I would like you all to, especially I think we find such examples more in maths and science, or maybe in languages also. Would you like to share some examples where something written in the book you felt students in your school will not understand because of the difference in context? something that was written in the book and you felt it was students in your school will have a different context. I would love to hear from, see some messages from you on this. Something that was there in the book and you had to simplify it, contextualize it for students to understand. Waiting for your answers. Something that you felt is mentioned in the book, but students in Sikkim, students in my city, my town will not understand this. This belongs to a different context. Have you come across such examples in textbooks? Like when I was younger, we don't see a lot of rhododendrons in Delhi, and there was, I remember when I was younger, a poem around rhododendrons, and they were talking about the beauty of rhododendrons. I didn't know how rhododendrons look. Okay, Ledinla ji is saying means of transport like ferry. Okay, cool. Students there have not seen a ferry. Okay. Visiting a historical site, they're talking about historical sites that your students haven't seen. Absolutely correct. Yeah, in rural areas, students haven't seen train. I see some chapters around metro also. Students in smaller cities, smaller villages have not seen metros. Okay, Lizumji is saying students in my previous school, they know the vegetable's name, which is there in grade 4, but the students in town doesn't know the same vegetables. Absolutely. Local plants name. Okay, correct. Visiting monuments, again, chapters around monuments. Okay. Area and population of Delhi. People can't relate how populated can be Delhi living in Sikkim in such place which is not that populated. I was last when I met some of you in Sikkim, in especially Jorthang training, we were talking about how Delhi is and the weather, lightly chit-chatting during lunchtime. So we were talking about I needed to drink something, a soft drink or something, but I couldn't find it anywhere. There was no shop nearby. Anything that I had to purchase while living in Namchi, we had to walk at least 15 minutes to get to the market, whereas in Delhi we can just simply order something from a delivery app, and without stepping out of the house you get it in your house at your doorstep in 5 minutes. So a lot of difference in context. Okay, visiting railway station. Nayanji, do students have not seen railway station? Okay. CNG used as green fuel. Okay. Have not seen a tram. Okay. Trizanji is saying, mentioned about different places where students had never visited. Absolutely correct. So I'm sure when you were teaching that topic, you contextualize the whole thing and help students understand. Festivals like Eid, absolutely. Lucky ji is saying we should relate to what we have around us. Absolutely. Topic of tsunami, students were not able to understand. Okay. Okay, let me hide a little account says there is a chapter named Proposal in Standard 10th where it talks about wedding in Russia. So students were not able to relate. Absolutely. Names of dishes. Pravesh, I already spoke about it during my last minute. Names of dishes from different regions of the country, and some of your colleagues were suggesting me what to try while during a weekend in Sikkim. So I loved it. Okay. Pollution of Delhi. Yeah, absolutely, Pasangji. Pollution, how bad can be the pollution? Students living in Sikkim will not be able to relate to it. Okay. Chuksa ji is saying since the place is so remote, they haven't seen aquariums. Okay. Manjula ji is saying mostly foods and festivals is something that they're not able to relate to. Okay. Food. Festivals of Delhi, Sikkim students don't understand. Lakshmanji, yeah, true. Similarly, students living in Delhi will not know about the festivals in Sikkim. What students, we adults don't know. Bicycles transportation is new for them. Okay. Sujata ji is saying students have never had idli, sambar and dosa, so they find it hard to relate to. Okay. Okay, Pranita ji is saying no railways. Okay. So absolutely, context does make a difference, but how do we fight that? It's you have the tool in your hand when you can use your own examples, your own ways of explaining things to students. That's what autonomy is all about. Seafood for Sikkim students. Okay, Aniji, I relate to that. That is why policy trusts teachers so much, because you know your students the best. You know, if there is an activity in the book that says draw a picture of this, but you know one of your students can't draw well, so why should he suffer? Maybe you give him some other activity. Understand the classroom context. So if my book says, usually we have such questions in the maths book, go home, measure your dining table and bring back the area of surface of dining table, but you know your children, they don't have dining tables at home, so you change that question. I'm sure can make better real-time decisions than any other book or guideline. Absolutely correct. No book, no guideline, no rule book can know what you all know about your children. So what are the common pedagogical approaches used in classroom? We will talk about that. Already still a lot of different dresses and food items. Yeah. Metropolitan cities and slums. Absolutely. Students in Sikkim wouldn't know about that. Yeah. So shall we move to the next topic? Oh, Mandira ji is saying students in Sikkim have never seen a beach. True. Okay. Types of pedagogical approaches. So we will talk about constructivist approach, collaborative approach, integrative approach. Yesterday, some of you were talking about integrative approach, reflective approach, and inquiry-based approach. I see a lot of you have already spoken about inquiry-based learning. So let's understand quickly, although I'm sure you all are using it in your class. Let's quickly understand about inquiry-based learning. Inquiry-based learning is when students explore questions, explore things. For example, like in this image, why do plants grow towards sunlight? So instead of giving ready-made answers to children find out answers on their own. They investigate, they observe, they ask questions, they record, they analyze, and they finally make conclusion. So teacher is only helping them do all this. Do what? Observe, ask questions, record, analyze, and then ultimately they come to conclusion. So this is what inquiry-based learning is about. I saw many of you were talking about inquiry-based learning in the chat. What are the topics where you have used inquiry-based learning and how? I'm curious. Because inquiry-based learning does need a lot of patience at teachers, and I'm sure you all are very good at it, but still I'm keen to learn how you all are using inquiry-based learning in your classroom. Waiting for your answers. How you all are using. Okay, students work in groups, learn together. That's collaborative. How are you using inquiry-based learning? Because I saw many of you mention about it. How are you all using it in your classroom? Question answer. Okay, students actually need to question a lot when they are trying to find answers to things. How to grow crops. Okay, Karmalji, you took up this topic as inquiry-based approach in your class. Very good. Okay, group work. Okay, yeah, you can take up inquiry-based learning in group also. according to topic. Okay. Would you like to give some example of the topic, Arjunji? Types of flower through demonstration or taking outside for observation. Okay, but in inquiry-based learning, students take up a concept, take up a question and find answers on their own. Okay, very good. Roshanji has a question around inquiry-based learning. How many days does it take to germinate seeds? Okay, so students observe on their own. Okay, analyze, record. Absolutely. Another question Dechanji is giving, why do footballer given glucose during a match? Very good question for inquiry-based learning. Okay. Telling them, okay, how to, Karmalji is saying how to live and survive in society. Okay. I think you all are using inquiry-based learning in your classroom in some or the other way. Very nice. So these questions that I saw are good examples of inquiry-based learning. So like one example that was given was, why are footballers given glucose during the match? So very good answer. Students will ask questions, find out about things. Very nice. So then the group work that you all are talking about is collaborative learning, where students work in groups, share ideas with each other and learn together. That's collaborative learning. Okay. Examples could be group posters, and usually it's used in mixed ability groups. Usually when you make groups, you make one student with higher ability, one student with average ability, one student with lower ability. So they all learn with each other. I see you all are still sharing questions around inquiry-based learning, which is good. Okay. Let's move about constructivist pedagogical approach. So in this, students build knowledge through their own experiences, through their own observations, and teacher just acts as a facilitator. Teacher just guides discussions, and teacher is not supposed to give answers. Students learn through discussions, they share ideas, explain thinking, ask questions, and it is generally related to prior knowledge, where new ideas are linked to real life students and new learning is created on top of existing ideas. And it's usually hands-on activities, projects, group work, problem solving. So any example you would like to share where you used constructivist approach and students created learning on top of existing learning? Constructivist pedagogical approach. Have you used it somewhere? Where students created their own knowledge on top of existing knowledge. Okay, why is the color of leaf green? Okay. Good example. Any other example of constructivist pedagogical approach? Waiting for your answers. Role play in class. Okay. How would that be constructivist? Okay, we have one more example from Purnima ji. Identify two natural resources and gather information about their availability. Okay, they construct their own knowledge. Okay. Make model of water harvesting. Okay. Any more examples? Or shall we move on? Okay, they discussed about why people fight war. Okay. So few examples that I would like to give to help you understand better. Okay, some more examples are pouring in. Students prepared manure from dry leaves and vegetable peels within 2-3 weeks. Okay, nice. So if I ask questions, what do plants need to grow? They already have that understanding. They see at their home, in their family, around them, how plants grow. They just need to collate that knowledge and create a better understanding. Okay. So doing lab practical during using local resources. Okay. Students are asked to observe resources used in their home. Okay. uh, Encouraging children to find answers themselves and teacher observe the students learn. Absolutely, this is the idea. Okay. So, and one more example is, why do plants near the window grow better? So students observe, they discuss. That's how they already know certain things, and they build learning on top of the existing knowledge. Integrative pedagogical approach. What do you understand by integrative pedagogical approach? I saw many of you were yesterday mentioning about integrative learning. So what do you understand about integrative pedagogical approach? When integrate, when we link two or more subjects, when we link real life connections to learning, when we link different, when we integrate different integration, the word integrative comes from integration. Integration means is to link. So when we link two or more subjects, combined study, absolutely. Let me hide a little account is saying combined study. So when we link two or more subjects, when we link real life connections to learning, when we link several skills, when group projects connecting to different ideas, different subjects are taken up, that's what we called integrative pedagogical approach. Okay. There's an account named NT Sherpa. They're writing it is a teaching method where different skills, subjects, and experiences are connected together to help students understand a topic in a holistic way. Wonderful answer. Absolutely perfect answer, I would say. So basically, you're linking different ideas to have an overall holistic perspective towards a concept. Very good. And that's how real world is. Multidisciplinary approach. Absolutely. Account name the DIP 27 are saying multidisciplinary approach. And you all are understanding it well. Okay. Reflective pedagogical approach. Integrative approach. One more. Dechen ji is saying integrative pedagogical approach connects different subjects, real life experiences to make learning meaningful and holistic. Absolutely correct. Teaching interdisciplinary areas. Absolutely correct. Let's move to next approach, which is reflective pedagogical approach. It's the first word is reflection. So reflective pedagogical approach, where student is reflecting, where teacher is reflecting, where they're doing their self assessment, where teacher is giving them feedback. So it's all about reflections. So reflective pedagogical approach, students are writing what they learned in notebooks. So students are doing reflection about their own learning. Teacher is doing reflection about how she has taught. Teacher is giving feedback to students about about what she has understood about their learning, their achievement of goals. And students are also doing self assessment. The overall goal of this whole pedagogical approach is to improve teaching and learning. Now I want you to think of a think of a topic and tell me which pedagogical approach out of these 5 would you like to use. Think of a topic, and out of the 5 pedagogical approaches that we mentioned, which pedagogical approach would you like to use? First, mention a topic, put a dash, and then write which pedagogical approach would you like to do. We spoke about 5 pedagogical approaches. Let me take you back to all the 5 pedagogical approaches. These are the 5 pedagogical approaches we spoke about. I want you to mention a topic, put a dash, and then tell me which pedagogical approach you would like to use. Types of leaves, collaborative. Perfect, Dechenji. Thank you for your answer. Any more answers? Shapes in geometry, integrative. Okay, good. Any more answers? One topic and tell me the pedagogical approach that you would like to use. And I know you all are using a lot of this already in your classrooms. Waiting for your answer. Natural resources, inquiry based. Perfect. Money and banking, integrative. Good. Types of soil, constructive pedagogical approach. Good. Natural resources and their use, constructive. Good choice. Wastewater management, inquiry based. Very good choice, I would say. Simplify, Anita ji. Constructive approach. Okay. Writing diary entry, integrated approach. Okay. Tell me more about it. Inquiry based. Ask to go nearby PHC and ask how does stethoscope work. Very good. Prime number, constructivist approach. Verb, constructivist. Okay. Family, reflective. Okay. Testing of food, constructive approach. Okay. Why do plants near window grow better? Constructivist approach. Absolutely. Take them to farms. Reflective approach. Okay. You take them to farms and ask them to reflect about their observations and learnings. Absolutely correct. Area and perimeter. Inquiry based. Good. Nationalism in India. Collaborative approach. Water harvesting. Constructivist. Absolutely. Sujata ji is saying students of rural areas are unable to understand malai paneer and dragon fruits. Okay. Topic of hereditary, integrative approach. Okay. I think you all are going in the right direction. We can move on. Okay. Do you use some pedagogical tools? When I say pedagogical tools, what do you understand? We've spoken about pedagogical choices, we have spoken about pedagogical approaches, and now I'm talking about pedagogical tools. What do you understand about pedagogical tools? Different ways. Socho. We have already spoken about pedagogical choice. We have also spoken about pedagogical approach. Now I'm asking about pedagogical tool. What do you think is a pedagogical tool? TLM. Okay, good. Methods and materials. Good. TLM. Okay. Questioning discussion. Wonderful. Bang on. I think your answers are bang on. Let's move on. So pedagogical tools are any methods and strategies, resources. Methods आपने already बोला, strategy भी बोला, resources your TLM, techniques teachers use to deepen students' thinking and understanding. This can't be called a training. This is just a discussion. You all already know a lot. So teaching methods, instructional strategies, learning resources, assessment techniques, classroom practices, they're all pedagogical tools. Wonderful. But in this session, we will majorly talk about questioning and graphical organizers. Questioning is something I saw you all are using extensively already in your classrooms. Graphic organizers is something I haven't heard about a lot in this training session. So let's first talk about graphic organizers, how graphic organizers can be used. Quickly tell me, do you use graphic organizers? What kind of graphic organizers do you use? Do you use graphic organizers? Yes or no? If yes, what kind of graphic organizers do you use? Table diagrams, okay. Yes, Ledinla ji is saying table diagrams, okay. Concept mapping, okay. Flowcharts you're using, concept maps you're using, okay. Flowcharts again. Babita ji is saying yes. Okay, Punya ji is saying flowchart, charts and pictures, flowchart, TLMs, flowchart, okay. Timelines also you're using, good. Flowcharts, TLM, mind mapping, good. Good. You all are using already. That's great. So what is a graphic organizer? A visual tool that helps students organize ideas. Why do we use flowcharts and maps and visuals and Venn diagram also? Some of you are using. Why are we using all of this? Because it's a visual tool to help children organize ideas. So like you're already saying, given enough examples, flowcharts, diagrams, maps, Venn diagram also some of you have said, concept mapping, very good. Perfect examples. So I've given some flowcharts, some graphic organizers here. And from a basic to a more complex, that's how they are placed. Simplest is a table. You've already said it. Venn diagram also you all are using, you say. Flowchart is also being used in your class. You've told me. I've seen mind maps also. Some of you writing about mind maps also, and then concept maps. Bubble chart also some of you are using. Great. Story map also some of you. That's perfect. So we will quickly talk about these types of graphic organizers, and I encourage you to use them more as your pedagogical tool. But let's talk about when to use each graphic organizer. Table we use to classify or organize information. Venn diagrams are used to compare and contrast. There's a account called the Yard Cell. They're saying makes complex information easier to understand. Absolutely. Graphic organizers, Dechanji saying graphic organizer help in summarizing concepts and connecting ideas visually. Haven't used graphic organizer. Koi baat nahi, Lizam ji. After today, we encourage you to use. Try it out. It really helps. Okay, so Venn diagram we use to compare and contrast. Flow charts we are used to sequence or process. Mind maps are used to generate ideas, and concept map is used to show relationship between ideas. I really love it that some of you are sharing that you haven't used, but I really encourage that you use it in the class. Try it out. Try the simpler one first. You don't have to try the most complex one. Try the simpler ones first. Okay, flowchart. Simple process can be shown using a flowchart. So I think it's the simplest to use. Then we have Venn diagrams. Venn diagrams can be used to help compare and contrast ideas. Okay, table also you're using to compare. Perfect. Then we have mind maps also. Mind maps are used to generate ideas. Concept map is used to show relationship between different concepts. Okay, story maps, great. Next, when I visit Sikkim, show me some story maps. If we happen to meet, pie charts also, great. Concept map and mind map. Concept map and mind map sometimes can be confusing, but let's understand how they are different. Concept maps show relationships between different concepts, sub-concepts, and they are usually linking words are used. They organize a structure, whereas mind map is simply used to generate ideas. There's no linking. It's a brainstorming tool. And benefits of organizers, you all are already writing. Bubble chart is also good, Chuksaji. You all are also writing about how graphic organizers help children easier to learn through visuals. I've seen some of you write. It helps slow learners grasp the concept easily. It also organizes their thinking. It improves the memory. It encourages discussion in the class and supports a mixed ability because slow learners are also able to pick it up. It's quick learners use it to organize their learning. So it usually supports a mixed ability class. Which graphic organizer would you think of a graphic organizer? Think of a graphic organizer that you would like to use to teach the topic that I show you next. Seed germination. Which graphic organizer would you like to use to teach this topic? Seed germination. I'm showing you a topic name. You have to tell me which topic, which graphic organizer would you use to teach this topic. Okay. Flowchart. Everybody's writing flowchart. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. All are writing flowchart. Democracy versus monarchy. Which topic, which graphic organizer would you use to explain this? Democracy versus monarchy. Venn diagram. Okay. Table. Okay. Okay, Venn diagram again. Table. I'm usually getting answers Venn diagram and table, which is fine. Pollution. How will you teach the topic of pollution? Concept map. Role play. हमें graphic organizer. Roshan ji, tell me a graphic organizer that you would use. Mind map, concept map. Okay, Usha ji, thank you. Some names I'm not taking because they're hard for me to pronounce. Please pardon me. Mind map. Okay, concept map. Okay. Concept map, mind map. I think. How can questioning be used as pedagogical tool in the classroom? You all are using questioning a lot, I saw. But how can questioning be used as an effective pedagogical tool in the classroom? So whenever we are using questioning, yesterday also I spoke about it, that yes or no answers do not encourage thinking. How, why kind of answers encourage thinking. So a good question, when we are talking about questioning in the class, questions have to be good questions. Good questions can help teachers check understanding, also identify misconceptions, encourage thinking and engaging. That's why I see you all are using questions a lot, because it engages all the students and encourages thinking. And like I said, it helps us identify misconceptions also. But when I'm talking about good questions, let's understand what are not good questions, what are not so effective questions. So like I said yesterday also, yes or no questions are not very effective questions. They only check memory. Any question which is only checking memory is not so effective questions, because purpose of questioning is to encourage thinking. Any question which is not encouraging thinking is not a good question. For example, is food important? Yes. I did not think. I didn't have to think. Yes, food is important. But if I ask, why is food important? It becomes a good question, because now I have to think, collate my thought, and present it. Did plants grow? Yes, plants will grow. I don't have to think. Is 6 an even number? Yes, I don't have to think. If you ask me why is 6 an even number, then I have to explain my idea. Effective questions encourage explanation. Connect ideas. reveal student thinking. For example, why do athletes need more carbohydrates? It's a good question. Students will have to think about the points that they already know, about the things that they already know, collate their idea, and then present it. How does sunlight help plants grow? Again, a question that will encourage thinking. How do you know 6 is an even number? Students will have to reflect on their existing knowledge, collate idea, and then present it to you. So there's a tip that we have. Instead of having what, is, or did questions, ask why or how questions. Instead of asking is water important, ask why is water important for our body. Better questions will encourage deeper student thinking, and that's what we want. We have SM official account saying open-ended questions are effective. Absolutely. Okay, Dinesh ji has a good point. He says, I always follow a yes or no question with a why. Okay, so you make sure thinking is happening. Good point. Okay, moving on. How to ask questions. Asking questions also has to have a technique. So you give a wait time. Ask a question and pause. Let them think. Don't accept hasty answers. Let them think. Ask follow-up questions like Dinesh ji is saying. How do you know that? A follow-up question is always good. Ask students to explain answers. Let them collate their ideas. Let them think. Let them connect, make linkages, connect ideas, and then present the answer to you. Yes, SM official account is saying open-ended like why, how. Absolutely. Okay, Dechanji is saying in general, he throws a question and then individually. Okay, that can be a technique. Ask students to question each other is something also you can encourage in the class, because to ask a question also requires a lot of thinking. They would be then challenged to ask deeper questions. Types of questions you all are mentioning a lot. Closed questions. Again, an example is given. Name a vitamin C. It's closed. You cannot ask a full follow-up question. You cannot, there is no open-ended. It's a closed question. If this is the question, this has to be the answer. There's no alternate answer possible. Okay, there's another account saying, ask them to think, formulate, and answer without forcing. Okay, perfect. Discuss among themselves and then answer. Good. And then we have open-ended questions. Open-ended questions may have many answers. It encourages deeper thinking. And then there are probing questions that help you go deeper in student understanding. So why do you think that happened? How do you think? What do you think about it? These are all probing questions that encourage children to think deeper. Dinesh ji saying class is fun sometimes because when curious questions comes from students also. Now I want you to convert. Now you have to be quick with your answers on the chat, okay? Convert the given questions into thinking question. Is the leader in democracy chosen by the people? How will you convert it into a thinking question? Is the leader in a democracy chosen by the people? You have to convert this question into a thinking question. Waiting for your answers. Okay. Premji is saying how leader is chosen in democracy. Why is a leader chosen? Okay. Another very open-ended question. How is the leader chosen in democracy? Would you like to add? Tejuji is saying how leaders are chosen in democratic setup. Pushpanjali ji has added a different twist to it. Why do we need to choose a leader? Okay. OLTV account is saying how the leaders are chosen in democracies. Okay, so Sheila ji is saying, why do you think the leader in a democracy is chosen by the people? Very good. How Puranji is saying, how is the leader chosen in democracy? Ushaji is saying, why do you think the leader कहाँ गया? In the game should be chosen by people? Okay. Perfect answers. Next, be ready for the next. Do we use percentages in real life? How do you convert it into a thinking question? Do we use percentages in real life? How do we use percentages in real life? Okay. How do you calculate percentage? How do you relate it to real life? Why do we use percentages in real life? Good question. Ledinla ji is saying, why do we use percentages? Sonam ji is saying, why do you use percentages in real life? Good. Okay. Why do we use percentage in our life? When do we use percentage in our life? Why is population measured in percentage? Absolutely. All wonderful questions that you're asking. Where do we see percentage in real life? Also a thinking question. Absolutely correct. Now, how to make your class active? We had a question yesterday also, I had written in my diary. It said, how do we encourage participation? Or another way of asking, how to make your class active? Active learning. We have some quick, okay, let's move to this slide now. We have a quick framework that can tell you how to make your class active in 10 minutes. Ask a thinking question. If you think your class is going too passive, quickly move to this format. Ask a thinking question. Let students discuss in pairs. Let groups share their answer and teacher clarifies. Within 10 minutes, your class has moved from passive to active. How to turn any lesson into an active learning. Add a think, pair, share activity. Have a worksheet that can be checked by peers. Add a story that can have a prediction question. Add an experiment and add a discussion along with it. Some of you are saying by asking questions. Absolutely. Okay, Pushpanjali is saying today we will not learn from book. We will play a game related to content, and immediately the class has moved from passive to learning. Very well said, Pushpanjali ji. But why active learning matters? क्यों चाहिए हमें active learning? Because we want students to be doing things, discussing things, thinking about things, because when all of that happens, engagement, understanding, and retention of learning happens. When students are thinking, they are discussing, they are doing things, they are understanding better, and whatever they are learning and whatever they are understanding is retained for longer time. I request you to try one strategy tomorrow that you've learned here. For maths, you can use error analysis. For science, add a simple experiment. For language, add a think, pair, share activity. For social science, add a role play. Start adding new things every day. We want children to learn, Sanjana ji saying, we want children to learn quickly and with understanding. Absolutely, that's what we all want for our children. Sanjay is saying ice-breaking session in between the lesson helps. Okay. Perfect. Now again, time for some reflections. 3 key ideas. Let's go one by one. 3 ideas you learned about pedagogy today. Point 1, point 2, point 3. Even if you write 2 words, I will understand. 3 key ideas you learned about pedagogy today. 3 key ideas you learned about pedagogy today. Sangeeta ji is saying 1, learning by doing. 2, 3 also you have to mention, Sangeeta ji. 3 key ideas. You point 1, point 2, point 3. Even if you write 2 words, I will understand. Waiting for your answers. Gayatri ji is saying integrated pedagogy. Great. Inquiry based, learning by doing. Onkik Bhutia ji saying pedagogical approaches. Pushpanjali ji saying playway, practical and observation. Anita ji saying different pedagogical approaches. Usha ji saying questioning technique, graphic organizers and reflective learning. Very good. Another account saying learning by doing and inquiry based. Pratima ji is saying factors of affecting pedagogy. Beena ji is saying group discussion, singing and short anecdote. Wonderful. Christina ji is having a suggestion here. Ask students to write down the most confusing part of the lesson. Wonderful. We have answers. Good questioning. Young Chi ji has learned about good questioning. Our choice of pedagogy. Ringzing ji is saying our choice of pedagogy. Sangeeta ji is saying learning by doing, fruitful way of learning by doing. Group discussion, peer discussion. Wonderful. Learner-centered, collaborative, integrated approach. Wonderful. 2 strategies that you would like to use in your class. 2 strategies that you would like to use in your class. Your next question. 2 strategies that you would like to use in your class. Learning by doing, inquiry based, how to ask questions, okay. 2 strategies. Think, pair, share, role play, learner centered, perfect. Playway and child centered, Gopalji saying, perfect. Group discussion, good. Tejuji saying group discussion and playway, perfect. LSG is saying students can learn without stress and learning by doing. Perfect. Anjana ji is saying I would try think, pair, share and learning by doing. Usha ji is saying questioning and graphic organizers. Okay. Nakil ji is saying good question and bad question. Okay. Your last question is one topic where you would like next training on. Mention one topic where you would like next training on. One topic where you would like next training on. Waiting for your answers. Use of technology in teaching. Okay, Purna ji. Assessment, Dinesh ji saying okay. Classroom assessment technique. Okay, noted. Using teaching aids. Okay. Time management. Okay. Offline training you want, Gopi ji. Point noted. Training for classroom management. Okay. Use of AI in teaching learning. You have an online module on this, use of AI in teaching. Use of multiple domains in teaching, okay? Life skills, using ICT, okay? Again, AI. Yes, you have a online module on AI. Pedagogical assessment strategies, okay? NEP 2020, Lakshmanji noted. Project-based learning, Ushaji noted. Technique to involve all levels of students, noted Pushpaji. Classroom management, again coming from Sushilji. Activity-based learning and thinking questions, noted. IT training, okay. Classroom management, portfolio handling, okay. Inclusive education, noted. Classroom management. So this is where we end the day. Once again, thank you so much for all the active participation, for all your time, attention that you've put in. You can leave a feedback for me in the chat. Anything where you want me to work on, please leave it. I would love your feedback. But before we end, I would like to request Rashmi ji to end the day. Oh, I don't see Rashmi ji. Anyway. Okay. So thank you once again. I hope we meet each other in person soon. I hope you all take back some part of this training back to your classrooms. I hope our students learn the best. Our students are able to ultimately our students should benefit from this training. Thank you so much. Barsha, over to you.
Thank you, Ravinder, for such an engaging session. Rasmiji just texted that she has issue with the power supply. She may not be able to come in. Yeah. Thank you, Vikash. Thank you to all the teachers for actively engaging in the session. Okay, Rasmiji is here. Hi, Rasmiji. Yes, we were waiting for
Rashmi ji,
you.
your last word on this
Yes.
training. Rashmi ji.
Is my voice clear? Am I audible?
No, Rashmi ji, you're not audible. I think, Barsha, we can end the training.
Rasmiji, is there any chances for you to restore it? Okay, then we will end the session. Thank you for joining in, Rasmiji, Ravinder, Vikas. Thank you for such a wonderful session. And thank you to all the teachers for proactively engaging in the session. We saw good participation throughout. It was wonderful seeing you all interact. Yes. Rasmiji, any sign of your internet restoration? No? Okay, then Ravinder, thank you. You can drop off. I'll turn off the session. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all the teachers, for joining in and participating very actively. This is one of the guided sessions that was supposed to be a part of the TEP. अब तपाईँहरूले नेक्स्ट चाहिँ के छ भने तपाईँहरूले आफ्नो टिपिटी बोर्डमा प्लिज कन्टिन्यू यर ट्रेनिङ तपाईँहरूलाई त्यसमा सेल्फ बेस्ड लर्निङको लागि कन्टेन्टहरू एभाइलेबल छ तपाईँहरूले टिपिटी बोर्डमा टिचर प्रोफेसनल डेभलपमेन्ट बोर्डमा प्लिज complete your sessions. Okay, you will be getting a certificate at the end of it when you complete those. तपाईँहरूलाई केही पनि प्रब्लम छ भने प्लिज रिच आउट टु यर रेस्पेक्टिभ मास्टर ट्रेनर्स ब्लग्सहरूमा पनि तपाईँहरूले मेसेज लाउँदाखेरि हुन्छ वी विल बी देयर टु सपोर्ट यु एन्ड देयर इज अ सपोर्ट नम्बर इन द TPD board that we checked last time. तपाईँहरूले त्यसमा पनि कल गरेर you can put up your queries anytime. They are there to support you. तपाईँहरूले सबैजनाले आज आफ्नो लर्निङ सर्कलमा हिजो जसले पनि इनरोलमेन्ट गर्नुभयो आफ्नो एटेन्डेन्स मार्क गर्नुहोस् द पोर्टल इज ओपन टिल 5 PM टुडे तपाईँहरूले हिजो जसले इनरोल गर्नुभयो उहाँहरू तपाईँहरूले चाहिँ मार्क गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ अगर तपाईँहरूले हिजो इनरोल गर्नुभएको थिएन भने चाहिँ गुगल फर्म हेज अलरेडी बिन फ्लोटेड एन्ड वी स लट अफ एन्ट्रिज अलरेडी तपाईँहरूले त्यसबाट गर्दाखेरि हुन्छ गुगल फर्ममा यु क्यान जस्ट फिल अप यर डिटेल्स एन्ड यर एटेन्डेन्स विल बी मार्क्ड. We need more training like this. Thank you, ma'am. We will definitely look at it and we'll have more such trainings in our upcoming days. हिजो इनरोल भएको छैन भने डाकिमा शेर्पा म्यामले भन्नुभएको छ हिजो इनरोल भएको थिएन हिजो इनरोल भएको थिएन भने केही प्रब्लम छैन तपाईँले गुगल फर्मबाट आफ्नो एटेन्डेन्स मार्क गर्नुहोस् द्याट विल वर्क. Thank you, everyone. I'll just be closing this in next 2 minutes. Google form ko link already share भएको छ तपाईहरुलाई it is put in your respective groups. I think I can also try to bring it here. म तपाईहरुलाई यहाँ पनि च्याटमा पनि लगाइदिन्छु Google form. Okay, if you are having problem. We already saw a lot of responses, but still I've just put it here. एउटा Google form आएको छ तपाईले त्यसमा क्लिक गरेर you can fill your attendance. अगर तपाईले लर्निङ सर्कलमा गर्नु भएको हुन्छ चाहिँ you don't have to fill this Google form. Thank you, everyone. Okay, I'm closing this session now. The Google form is pinned here. तपाईहरुले आफ्नो मास्टर ट्रेनर्स र ब्लग अफिसियल्सकोबाट पनि अलरेडी पाइसक्नु भयो होला. So you can fill up from there as well. I'm ending the session. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.